So I think that the first line in the song is easily and instantly one of the most powerful. Only in madness do you find beautiful death. You guys wanted it, and I am here to deliver. Bad Omens, be careful what you wish for. Genuine first-time reaction. I'm about as excited as you probably were the first time that you heard this. And it's also very timely for me, because I've already heard that this song was about Chester Bennington's passing, and is basically dedicated to him. And I just reacted days ago to the new Linkin Park song, Lost. So this was requested by Naz. And before I jump in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Become part of the Nuclear family. It's totally worth your time. Follow me on socials, link down below in the description. Also in the description is my Patreon. If you want to join Tier 4 on Patreon, you can make a song request of your choice and guarantee a reaction to it right away. So if you want that VIP access, go check it out. Oh, and just to do something extra special, I'm going to also be reacting to the unplugged version of the song, along with that music video, right after this one, because I honestly want to check out both, and I want you guys to experience it with me. So let's start with the official version. Careful what you wish for. Let's get into it. I feel like this one's going to be kind of a ballad, right? Let's see.
Only in madness do you find beautiful death.
Wow.
And only in sadness do you feel happy instead.
Okay, I hate to pause it so early, but I already know this is going to be a deep song. Very much looking forward to getting into the lyrics. That line, that's one crazy line to begin a song with. What was it again? Only in madness do you find beautiful death? That's probably one of the best lines I've heard all year. In a long time, I should say. Wow. Yeah, this appropriately deep for what the subject matter is about. So far, I like that it seems more toned down and it feels immediately more emotional than the last two songs by Bad Omens that I checked out. And again, I feel that's very fitting for the theme of this song. So let's continue.
Be careful what you wish for, 'cause you don't know the guilt I carried this far. All on my own, it's nothing you wanna feel.
This clean voice is so good, just as good as his harshness.
Wait for the dust to settle. Don't wait till it's not enough. Don't wait for the world to let go of the both of us. Don't wait for the dust to settle. Don't wait.
Oh, there's like a little edge to his voice that's perfect.
Don't wait for the world to let go or to give you up. The silence is one thing that I'll remember you say. Well, it's better than nothing when nothing's on your end.
Also, just want to comment quickly on the music video. I always try and pay attention to that as well. It seems like there's a woman trying to reach some shadowy figure on the other side of this glass. And maybe that's speaking to trying to reach someone who is lost, who is broken and in a lot of pain. And they're just trapped in their own head or in their own cycle of pain. And you're trying to get through to them, trying to reach them. But it's like there's a piece of glass, like a window separating the two of you. That's kind of what I'm getting from the visuals. Let me know in the comments if you agree. If you want to elaborate on that, let's get a conversation going, of course. But my initial thoughts so far, I really am liking the music on this. I feel like it's unfair to say that I like it more or less than the last two songs, because they were more heavy, they were kind of doing their own thing. This is very much in a different style, and the way that it's being executed so far is really good.
Be careful what you wish for, 'cause you don't know the guilt I carried this far. Wasn't my own.
I like the way the drumming helps build up this part here. And that Grader's voice, really great. When a chorus is so good, you don't even care that it repeats so much. Oh, I feel some emotion hitting right now. Where's this going? Oh, I love everything the drumming is doing on this. This song is really good at just getting you amped up, but not in like an excited, like super positive kind of way. Like this is obviously a deeply, mournful, melancholy kind of song. It's like, I think this band's way of grieving over people like Chester, but it still has a feeling of anticipation for like the next emotional hit in the song. Like it just takes you to some really raw, really palpable kind of place. And I think that for a band to communicate its own emotion so well in a piece of music, it's easier said than done, man. And I think that they're pulling it off very well so far. So I really want to see where this is going next. Let's continue. Oh, I like how he's leaning into like the kind of scream there. Oh, this is really good. The way he held that note too. This is so good, man. Wow. Man, I will say this. Chester would be proud. I sincerely believe that this band would have his respect. And I just feel like in their own way, they were paying homage to him a little bit too. Not to say that the vocalist is not super talented, super capable, but I feel like the way he was leaning into that kind of sing scream, I'll call it a scring. He can scream very well. But it was very evocative of like what Chester did with Linkin Park, right? And obviously I mean that as a compliment. And the fact that he's capable of doing that so well, that's just great. But I just think that the way he pulled it off was so fitting for this kind of song. And it was really well done. The way he sang Not Giving Up toward the end, I felt so raw. I felt so desperately compassionate. And I really liked that they were able to pull that off in a way that really hits hard, like really drives right into you, into like your heart as you're listening to it. At least that's what I felt. That was very much the case for me. I was quite moved by this song, actually. It just kind of stirred something up in me. And I think that it just comes down to the music and what they poured into this music. So I really liked it. I really think that the drumming was doing excellent work as well. And the transition during moments were great. The lead-ups and the build-ups were great. And that chorus, once again, it was a little repetitive, but I don't mind that at all because it just worked. It just sounded so good that I didn't even care. I definitely want to hear this song again right away. So, lucky for me, I'm going to be able to hear the acoustic version right now. Unplugged music video. It's also pretty cool that they decided to do a separate music video for this version. So again, genuine first time reaction. I'm not sure if they'll do anything different on this one or if it'll just be an unplugged, stripped down version of the same song. But either way, let's check it out.
Only in madness do you find beautiful death, and only in sadness do you feel happy instead.
I bet he's either softer with his voice on this one.
Cause you don't know the guilt
yeah, he's doing it right.
all on my own. it's nothing you wanna feel. Don't wait for the dust to settle. Don't wait till it's not enough. Don't wait for the world to let go of the both of us.
Okay, I already think this is a beautiful take on the original version. Isn't it amazing what acoustic guitar does? Like, what a world of difference it could create for a version of a song. Like, almost every metal band that I really like that does acoustic versions, it really makes a difference. Like, it's not just a band doing an acoustic song. Like, there's a purpose to it, and it just hits emotionally in a different way. So there's that. And I also want to comment on the music video. This is much more muted, right? Like, you have the overcast sky. It's very, like, gives off, like, a cool, cold kind of vibe with the scenery here. And it's just, like, very stripped down. Just the guys sitting here with their guitars. Whereas the original music video, if you look back at it, it's like a lot of like fiery kind of imagery, like that really golden color, a lot of like heated passion, right? Where this is more, dialed back, dialed down, more, mournful in, a softer, more sorrowful kind of way. So I think that it was a good choice how the visuals, accompany and complement the respective versions of the songs. Just wanted to comment on that, but let's get back to it.
Don't wait for the dust to settle. Don't wait till you've had enough. Don't wait for the world to let go or to give you up. The silence is one thing that I'll remember you said. Well, it's better than nothing when nothing's all that you left. So be careful what you wish for, cause you don't know the guilt I carried this far wasn't my own.
This feels so much more introspective.
It's nothing you wanna feel. Don't wait for the dust to settle.
Oh, adding an electronic video.
Don't wait for the
I don't mind it. I don't dislike it.
For the dust to settle.
Oh, that's smooth, man.
Don't wait till you've had enough. Don't wait for the world to let go or to give you up.
That was very much a surprise. I thought this was going to be like just a stripped down organic song. I did not expect that beat to come in. But if it works, it works, Like some people, maybe they'll dislike that. Maybe they'll just wish that the guitar work spoke for itself. I don't know. I like it. I like that came in. I like that they caught me off guard a little bit. These little, like, surprises that come out of left field when bands do this, I'm all about that, man. I just, it makes a world of difference when you're a first-time listener. And that just, that hit in a cool kind of way. And you know what? It contributes its own thing. It offers its own sort of element that enriches the emotional sensibility to this even further, in my opinion. So I like it. I really do. Let's see what else they have in store. Let's keep going. Also like the scenery of these shots here too.
If you need a place to hang your head and shoulders better than a knot, you'd be a better memory.
I love his vocals.
Rather than not. If you need a place to hang your head and shoulders better than a knot, you'd be a better memory if no one else forgot. Don't wait for the dust to settle. Don't wait till it's not enough. Don't wait for the world to let go of the both of us.
It's going to be hard to decide which version of this song I like better.
Don't wait till you've had enough. Don't wait for the world to let go or to give you up. If you need a place to hang your head and shoulders better than a knot, you'd be a better memory, a life rather than not.
Man, this is a whole vibe, it's so cool that they decided to do two versions of this song. Because it just feels like, first of all, the passion was clearly on display in the first one, in my opinion. And second of all, like, it's just, it doubly shows how passionate they are that they decided to give this song a separate kind of musical treatment, because it was clearly something so important to them that they wanted to have an alternative take on it. And I can't decide which one I like more. Not that it's a contest, but I'm just as taken with this one as I was with the first one, with the official version. And this is calling up emotions all over again in me, just like the first one did. I mean, these guys are so talented, man. I'm so glad that I decided to check them out. And I fully understand why everyone's raving about Bad Omens. I really do. I love this. I really, really do. Yeah, enough rambling on my part. Let's finish it up.
If you need a place to hang your head and shoulders better than a line, you'd be a better memory if no one else forgot. I'm not giving up, so don't you give up.
Wow. I like how he restructured his vocal approach on this one to just, really suit what this particular version of the song needed. And he really is an example of someone who uses his voice like an instrument. He just leans into the emotion of it. He lets notes be held when it suits the song, when it's fitting for the moment, and he's very good at doing it. I think that he's just a master at his craft, and I think that he just showcases his passion and the heart that he puts into his music in the videos themselves. I know to a certain degree it's a performance, to a certain degree it's rehearsed when you're doing a music video, but it's also, I believe, you can read it in someone's face when they're really feeling what they're singing. Sometimes a band or an artist is just kind of going through the motions, not to say that they're not putting in the work, but there's not always like a pure, raw kind of passion there on display. With this band, it's very much the opposite. You see that passion there, you see that emotion, you see how meaningful it was to put this song out there for this band, I think. So I think that probably this is one of the most important songs to the band members themselves. Of course, let me know in the comments if you know more. Fill in the blanks, give me some backstory, some background information. I always very much appreciate that, but that's my takeaway from this. And I just think that the unplugged version did very much its own thing. It went fully in with what it was trying to achieve, which was, in my opinion, a softer, more melancholy version of the official song. And I'm glad that it did that. I'm glad that it didn't try to just repeat the exact same song beat for beat, but it just was willing to explore things in a slightly different direction. Like the acoustic guitar really was done well, and it really was the strongest element in the song, but at the same time, the way they brought in that beat, I think, as surprising as it was also fitting. And I think it really worked for this song. So I'm really impressed by both versions. Guys, let me know which version you like better in the comments down below, or if you like both of them just the same. I can't decide. I don't think it's a contest anyway. I love them both. I really mean that. And I will be listening to both again. But for now, let's get into the lyrics, because I want to talk about this one. Only in madness do you find beautiful death, and only in sadness do you feel happy instead. Be careful what you wish for, because you don't know the guilt I carried this far all on my own. It's nothing you want to feel, so let it go. Don't wait for the dust to settle. Don't wait till it's not enough. Don't wait for the world to let go of the both of us. Don't wait for the world to let go or to give you up. The silence is one thing that'll remember you said. Well, it's better than nothing when nothing's all that you left. Wow. If you need a place to hang your head, a shoulder's better than a knot. Wow, that is an insane line. You'd be a better memory alive rather than not. Yeah. You'd be a better memory if no one else forgot, so let it go. So don't you give up. Wow, man. So I think that the first line in the song is easily and instantly one of the most powerful. Only in madness do you find beautiful death. And I don't think that's meant in a derogatory kind of way at all. I think what that means is only in the darkest and lowest of moments, when you're in such pain that your mind can't cope, only then do you surrender and feel like you have no choices left. And only then does the idea of leaving this life sound appealing. And that's a dark place to be, but it feels like it's the only option, the only escape hatch that you have left. So I think it's clever in its simplicity, that line, because it conveys the idea that death is the opposite of beautiful, that exiting this world before your time is the worst possible thing you can do. But it also expresses compassion for someone going through this kind of pain. So it condemns the act itself as being an ugly one, but also hits a note of sympathy for people like Chester who become lost to that pain and that madness. And look, I know that I've done a handful of reactions lately to songs that deal with this specific issue, and I'm sure that we'll lighten things up in the days and weeks to come with different lyrical subjects. But awareness of this is important, and there's a reason why it affects so many people, bands and artists included, especially sometimes. And I don't necessarily know how much more I can elaborate on the subject than I have done already. Luckily, I haven't been directly affected by someone who lost their life in this way. The only really close person who I lost, once again, was my best friend in 2020, but it was due to an accident. And the only other instance in which this happened to someone that I sort of knew was years ago at my work, someone associated with my job. I'll just put it that way. This person took their life, and I had spoken to and worked with this person 2 or 3 times, but I didn't know him beyond that. But I know that it did affect some of my colleagues, some of them quite deeply, who knew him better and more closely, and who had worked more closely with him. And so I remember that they had a grief counselor come in one day to, talk to everyone. And, look, personally, I think that if that's what you need, and you've been affected by a loss like this, it's absolutely important. But at the same time, and this is what has worked for me in my pain whenever I've had it in my life, and this is also repeating something that I've said before on the channel, but one of the great things about music is that it really can work as a shared grieving process between the listener and the artist. And it can really be therapeutic in its own way. And I think this is an example of an artist taking the lessons that we learned from the loss of people like Chester and paying it forward with a life-affirming song, a cautionary tale also, and a warning not to do this. And at the same time, it's also an opportunity for the band themselves to grieve over this and to pour that emotion into their art. And I think it works on every level. And I think they're also basically saying, don't ever wish death upon someone, because you should be careful what you wish for, because you don't know the guilt I've carried this far all on my own. It's nothing you want to feel. It's like saying, be grateful that you don't have this horrific pain that others do, and don't wish anything bad on people, because you don't know what they're going through, and a single wish or threat spoken in the heat of anger could be exactly the thing that pushes someone over the edge. Yeah, I mean, words, they say words hurt, right? But sometimes words kill, and this is something that we really need to do soul searching on when it comes to how society operates now and how we conduct ourselves in the online world, especially. Never underestimate the power of words. We can speak great things or horrible things into existence in many ways. And I think the lesson that we should take away is that it's not wrong to be extremely vocal, but do it in a way that's not hateful. And it says here, the silence is one thing I'll remember you said. So sometimes when you don't speak up, it's just as bad. So all this is to say that if you see someone going through something like this and you're afraid for them, don't be frustrated or angry with them. Instead, try and empathize and try and exercise human compassion. And rather than say nothing, say something, but make sure it's something that lifts the person up rather than beats them down when they're already vulnerable or in pain. And I have to talk about this because this is probably my favorite line of the song right here. This should honestly be a quote that gets recited often and loudly. It says, "If you need a place to hang your head, a shoulder's better than a knot." I love that, and that's probably one of the most brilliant and powerful lines that I've ever read in a song, ever. I'm just going to come right out and say that, and I don't need to analyze that one because it speaks for itself. Despite the multitude of factors behind why someone makes that terrible choice to end their life, whether it's social, psychological, emotional, spiritual, or all of the above, I think the strongest and best way to stop something like that before it happens is to make sure that you can be that shoulder for someone. And I get it. It can be a burden sometimes. Not in a negative way, but it can be something that is like an additional emotional weight when you already have maybe pain and other things going on in your own life. We all have our own things that we carry on our own shoulders, but, it helps if you can be that person. Be someone else's strength. And sometimes it's just no one's fault at all, right? Like, as much as we care about someone, we lose them anyway. Certainly, I think that was the case with Chester. He was surrounded with people who loved him, and what happened, unfortunately, happened. And it's terrible, but it still matters to treat people decently, especially friends, family, your partner, and let them know that you're there for them. So speak up and be there for that person, I think, is ultimately what the song is trying to say. And pull that person back from the edge if you can, before it's too late. And certainly don't wish anything negative or horrible on people, because you never know what they're going through. So, really powerful. Both versions were equally powerful in my eyes. I mean, they were just so well done. And again, I'm not going to play favorites and comparing this song with the last two, because I don't think that's a fair comparison to make. I think they were in different styles, and they each excelled at what they were trying to achieve musically. But this one was so excellent. It's going on a playlist. Both of them are. And, of course, you can be sure that I want to hear more about this band, so leave your request in the comments below. And the better option, if you want to get your song request handled right away, Tier 4 on my Patreon, make your request. That's how you get it to the front of the line and guarantee a reaction to it as soon as possible. So yeah, if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Much love and respect to everyone and anyone who's going through this, and everyone in the Nuclear family. Your support really means the world to me, and if you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Become part of the Nuke fam. It's really worth your time. There's a lot of great content on here, and there's more to come. But for now, I will catch you all very soon.